Hey, it's Kyle Meredith. Welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith With. It's an audio interview series presented by WFPK, Independent Louisville, and Consequence of Sound. My guest today is Frankie Cosmos. Well, actually, Greta Kline from Frankie Cosmos. They've just released a brand new record called Vessel. We got to talk about how this is more of a band record than in the past, how it really feels like a band this time around. Her thoughts on the cinematic feel to it, and if she's ever considered soundtracking, a very curious lyric from the record where she says, "I'm America," and her love for Guided by Voices. It's Kyle Meredith with Frankie Cosmos.
Hi, yeah, it's me.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm well. Well, first off, the compliments on Vessel. I know a lot's been written about this,
Thank you.
Where you've came from, how it really started out as really just a pure solo record, but with the contributions that's happening now, does it feel like this is like a real band at this point?
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's definitely a band at this point, yeah. I don't know, I think everybody has different, there's different kinds of bands. I think everybody has a different, connotation of that, but yeah, I definitely view Frankie Cosmos as a band.
Yeah, well, that's what I wondered, because, you've had members kind of come and go, drop in for their parts, and then move on to other things, and I don't know what kind of consistency that can lead to, but I wonder, does that affect the songs, have you noticed, even from studio to live as it's happened?
Yeah, I mean, I think that everybody, who has been in the band, really brings their own kind of style, and so it's always changing when somebody leaves or joins, but yeah, I mean, it always changes the style. I don't know. I think that's kind of the thing that makes it kind of fun about having it be a little bit more. It's like a very fluid kind of band. The band is concrete when people are in it, but then it's it can it's subject to change based on people's lives. So it's always going to be I'm always going to be able to do stuff as Frankie Cosmos, and people who come in sort of bring their own different stuff to it. So it's nice because it makes all the albums sound different because there's so many different kinds of iterations that we've recorded as now and played live as.
For these songs being so personal and as you've called them, diary-like, has it been a transition for you to possibly, co-opt your vision for something bigger when you're collaborating with other folks?
Not really, because, I feel like, when I was making music by myself, it was really just it sounded really like solo music. It was just one instrument usually, or maybe I would dub over a second thing. But I feel like it's really kind of, I don't know, I feel like there are certain albums where you can tell when one person is writing. If I were to write, all the drum parts, all the bass parts, all the keyboard parts, I just feel like it would be so much less exciting because it's so fun to have different people's perspectives on it. And it's not like anybody's really changing the song at its core. The song is finished when I bring it in, but getting to arrange it with people, just having but I never feel like I'm giving up something. If anything, if there's a part that I and really want to happen, we will talk about it. A lot of the parts sometimes that another person will play will be something that I wrote and wanted them to play. If that's something that I'm super persistent about, but otherwise I kind of just trust them to do their thing, and I think it just makes it kind of more exciting, I guess, to hear it. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it really. I don't feel worried about them changing it's still super personal to me, the music, so it doesn't mess with it too much to have other people collaborate.
It's like an interesting push and pull, because it's an album that showcases growth as a band, but lyrically, and while there's a lot of growth lyrically, I guess in the subject matter, it seems like it's something in the past. While the band moves forward, you're talking about something that's really far behind you, a transitional point in your own life.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the thing that I am taking from what you're saying is that for me, a lot of the songs are about about past versions of playing in bands and being and making music in different. It's about collaborating with other people than my current bandmates. So I guess there is a kind of a tension there where I'm singing about past band relationships and then playing the songs with my current band is kind of funny, I guess.
Well, then there's other parts you've talked about this, and the lyrical themes are sort of the big deal on this record. Again, you said in an interview what I'm allowed to say out loud in a song, sort of versus what I'm actually feeling. What did you mean by that?
I guess I mean that a song is sort of, when I'm writing a song, I'm kind of exploring my feelings, and they're not necessarily fully thought out or fully, I can't even really like understand them in the real world a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of a place that I can kind of toy with asking questions that I maybe don't want to ask myself in real life.
That's what I get. I mean, it seems like there's struggle on this record. I've heard that you wrote these songs over a few years, like several years kind of takes place on this. Does something eventually tie them all together? Is there sort of that thread that pulls these in to make it an album instead of just a collection of songs?
I never know, because I kind of feel like I'm never really thinking about songwriting. Like, I'm never really thinking about the album or the finished product. I'm always kind of thinking about just each song. But afterwards is when I sort of start to notice the themes and stuff, like when there's a series of songs that I'm putting together into an album. But I don't know, I feel like there is a handful of sort of repeated themes that show up throughout in different forms, like, or even with my reaction to the theme being different based on the song. But stuff about, just being in a body or out of body and feeling discomfort with yourself and just different relationships and stuff. I mean, there's not like one thing that it's about. It's more like just exploring a couple different things, I guess. Yeah, I guess it's, maybe it's just a collection of songs. I think that's sort of the way that all my albums are. But for me, there's themes in it that I notice because I'm in my, I'm the one in my experience, like experiencing the feelings that are at the root of everything that maybe don't come through fully for every listener.
I mean, when I listen to it, there's like a near cinematic feel to the record. Like, I kept thinking, like, there's a really good coming of age movie in here. This would serve as the complete soundtrack to that kind of movie, which,
Cool.
It's a cool way to listen to it. So that's why I would sort of almost agree and disagree. I don't feel like it's a collection of songs in that way, because it does tell a big old story. I don't know. Have you ever thought about soundtracking, like something like that? Has that ever been a part of your desire musically?
I haven't really thought seriously about it, although when I was like first making music, when I was like 15 or 16, I met this like girl who was studying film in college, and she like liked my music, and so she just let me like score some of her silent films for school, which was really fun. And that was just like just sort of as a weird experiment, but I really enjoyed doing that. So I would totally someday want to do something like that again, probably. I mean, it's not something I'm actively thinking about though. But I do think it would be weird for Frankie Cosmos songs like with lyrics to be in like a movie or a TV show or something, because the songs for me tell like such specific stories that it almost feels like it would distract from the story of an actual, like a different thing, like a movie.
Well, because it would have to be almost in reverse, the way you were saying right there. Somebody created a project and you wrote the music to it, and in this sense, somebody would be taking your music and writing the movie to it.
Yeah. I wonder if I would like that movie.
Well, at least you know how the ending would be, somewhat, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know if I do know what the ending would be. I mean, for me, this album is kind of ends on a question mark in my view of it. It's sort of like there's a lot of questions on the album and a lot of tension, and like I guess the storyline that kind of like goes through the album, although it's not in chronological order, but it's like me sort of like asking questions about a relationship and being not unclear on what to do, and then sort of like going through a breakup and facing those questions and the new questions that crop up from that, and like but to me, it sort of still ends in like it doesn't necessarily have a conclusion. It's just like, well, who am I now? Like, I don't know.
I don't know that we ever figure that question out too, which I'm glad. I'm really glad. At this point, I'm 36. Not saying I don't have myself figured out, because you get to know yourself a little bit more each day and with each decision. But I think half the fun of doing anything that we do creatively is never figuring that out.
I think the fun part is trying anyway to figure it out, and yeah, never quite getting there. There's a divine dissatisfaction.
Thanks. I have the title for this interview now. That's perfect.
Well, I stole that from this Martha Graham letter that she wrote.
We'll co-sign on it.
Yeah.
There's one lyric in here that I want to bring up, and I might be reaching too far here. I was wondering if there was a lyrical overlap with the state of the nation and your state of affairs in Europe when you say "I'm America," unless I'm hearing that wrong.
Yeah, no, that is a lyric. The thing is, the whole album was finished being recorded, or it was finished being written before the current president was elected. So it's really kind of dated. And I've been thinking about that too, because that lyric definitely like means something new all the time, I guess, or can be interpreted as something new all the time. But it was just, honestly, it was not a very deep thought. It was just kind of a joke that I was trying to like make a weird joke.
It's a poetic joke. I liked it regardless. I mean, maybe because it does mean more now, you know? It does mean something.
It's a little like scary, I think, what it could mean.
Good luck with that, reinterpreting that every night.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. I've read that you've already written so many new songs since the songs that make up a Vessel, and to write all the songs. You know, Bob Pollard has 100 albums with, you know, on it. And I know you're a Gotta Buy Voices fan too. That seems like, is that the school of thought here, to do something in that trajectory?
Yeah, I mean, it's not directly kind of influenced by Bob Pollard, although I do love Gotta Buy Voices. Yeah, I love the idea of just like making songs all the time and sort of having them be, just not taking every song so seriously, and making songs just for fun, just as a joke, or just while you're, as the story about Bob Pollard goes, like while you're pooping, just come out of the bathroom and you have a new song or whatever. But that, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I like that idea, and I hope to keep doing stuff like that. I hope to just keep writing songs forever, because I think that's it's just like a nice philosophy for me, to not take it too seriously.
They're also masters of the less than a minute song, which you've also perfected. And I gotta say that's always been interesting to me, because for a lot of bands, you really do keep thinking about it, and maybe you overthink it, you know, where something could have just lasted 45 seconds or a minute, but they've got to add the bridge and the second chorus and the third verse. And that's fine, you know, that's pop music, but you're able to say, you know what, that song's done. Like, what kind of control is that?
Honestly, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's control or if it's just kind of like ADD, but I just like really don't. I don't like when lyrics like repeat for no reason. You know, like I feel like if a chorus is going to repeat a bunch of times, like with the same lyric, it has to be, the lyrics have to change meaning or something, or as they get repeated. So I'm kind of like, it's kind of rare that I repeat a lyric, or I don't know. I guess I like them to be concise. Yeah.
Have you heard their new record, by the way, Space Gun?
I haven't.
Oh, it's great.
I didn't even know that it existed. Damn, I should check it out.
Well, there's always a new one that exists. Every few months there's a new one that exists. So you can always count on that.
That's cool.
It's dare I say, big rock for them. Like, there are huge soaring choruses, and it's something that's more akin to like I Am a Tree and Glad Girls in that era. It's kind of weird hearing it, but it's a lot of fun too. So I'd recommend.
Cool. Sweet. Yeah, I'll check it out.
That's it for me. Greta, thank you so much. I'm really enjoying Vessel again, and I'll look forward to the next 90 or so records that you got coming out soon. So.
Sweet. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care.
All right. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks to Greta Kline from Frankie Cosmos for giving me a call today. The new record is called Vessel. Don't forget to subscribe to Consequence of Sound's YouTube channel to keep up with your favorite artists and interviews. And head over to WFPK.org, where I do a show every Monday through Thursday from noon to 3 Eastern. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.